Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. The Honourable Speaker of Parliament, the Honourable Prime Minister, Honourable Deputy Prime Minister, Cabinet Ministers and Assistant Ministers, Honourable Leader of the Opposition, Honourable Members of Parliament, distinguished guests, and ladies and gentlemen. Sayan Ravinaga, and a good afternoon to you all. Honourable Speaker, I rise today with humility and deep gratitude to deliver my response to the address by His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Fiji, Ratu Josaia Niudamu, at the opening of this 2026 session of Parliament. At the outset, Honourable Speaker, I acknowledge the Vanua upon whose ancestral land this august house stands. I also extend my heartfelt appreciation to the Vanua and chiefs of Ra, to
the chiefly province of Ra, chiefly house of
and to the many other communities in Ra from which I draw my strength. Your trust and unwavering support continue to guide me as I serve you and our nation in this honorable house. With your permission, sir, if you can allow me to say my appreciation words to the Vanua in our Ra dialect. And bukui ke rausa kana kay dini ba kay lobar na maram na minsta ni golgoli. Ke rausa da bu na ba bidi binaka na no bunibi ba kambaw ibi ke rau mi ke roma ke na Vanua na valdi bosilawa. Kasama iba mo lek mi ba ka bari na bak bani bing rabi. And buku ni kana ma agi na Vanua ausa da bu ana ba bidi binaka lebu. And bi ba kambaw I ke na be Paka nui ni Vanua rabi ke rau ni ke rau na mai ma aka na Vanua na valdi ni bosilawa. Sir, I also wish to express my profound sorrow for the families in Ra and Ba who were deeply affected over the recent heavy rains and flooding associated with tropical cyclone Urmila. Our people of Ra are very resilient as we always incorporate our motto in our hearts, Mai na Mai. Fear not or never fear. I also take this opportunity to thank the government for the urgent swift aid, the relief supplies, and the repaired infrastructure we have begun. Thank you so much, Honourable Minister Mbultab. Allow me to begin with the words of the scripture from the book of Micah, chapter 6, verse 8. He, and I quote, "He has shown you, O man, what is good, and what does the Lord require of you, but to do justly, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with your God," unquote. This verse speaks to the very essence of justice, humility, and service, principles that underpin both the President's address and our collective responsibility as leaders. His Excellency's address calls upon us to reflect on our shared national journey. It reminds us that Fiji's strength lies in the sovereignty of its people, the wisdom of our elders, and the sacrifices of those who come before us. It recognizes that our identity as a nation is shaped by the contribution of all our communities, Itaukei, Indo-Fijians, Rotumans, Panabans, and all who call Fiji home, including those in our diaspora. As we reflect on 152 years since the deed of cession and 55 years of independence, we are reminded that nationhood is not defined solely by time, but by a commitment to the values of good governance, education, faith, and economic progress. Independence brought with it both opportunity and responsibility. It entrusted each generation, including ours, with a sacred duty to build a nation that is just, inclusive, and resilient. His Excellency's address rightly affirms that our progress as a nation has been built through the collective efforts of our people, our workers, our civil servants, our peacekeepers, our community leaders, and our families. It is through their sacrifice, their service, and dedication that Fiji continues to grow and prosper. Honourable Speaker, central to the President's address is the government's legislative agenda, which reflects our shared commitment to strengthening the rule of law and ensuring that our legal framework remains modern, relevant, and responsive to the needs of our people. As Assistant Minister for Justice, I am proud to support the Ministry's legislative modernization program, which includes the review of key laws that shape our criminal justice system and protects the rights and dignity of our citizens. These reforms are not undertaken lightly. They are guided by careful considerations, constitutional principles, and the overarching goal of delivering justice that is fair, balanced, and accessible. Mr. Speaker, sir, legislative reform is complemented by the ongoing modernization of the ministry's core registries, which provide essential services to our people and businesses. Allow me to highlight a few notable achievements for the Ministry of Justice in 2025. The Births, Deaths and Marriages BTM registry has strengthened the civil registration and vital statistics system through collaboration with partner agencies, ensuring that every Fijian is recognized and protected from birth. This includes expanding hospital-based registration services, extending outreach to rural and maritime communities, and advancing the review of legislation to support digital record-keeping and certification. I am also pleased to report that several senior citizens have recently visited the BDM office to register their births and receive their birth certificates for the first time. One such case is 67-year-old Mr. Isiti Temo, who traveled all the way from Lakemba to complete his registration. With his new birth certificate, he is now able to access essential services, including registering for social welfare assistance. The Registrar of Companies has continued its transformation into a modern, efficient, and accessible services. Through digital platforms such as the Business Now portal, entrepreneurs are now able to register businesses remotely, significantly reducing processing times and administrative barriers. These reforms have empowered our small and medium enterprises and supported economic participation and growth. Similarly, the Registrar of Titles has made steady progress in transitioning from manual to semi-digital systems, improving processing efficiency, strengthening record management, and enhancing governance practices. These improvements ensure greater reliability, transparency, and accessibility of land registration services. The Official Receiver's Office has also advanced legislative modernization through the development of new insolvency and financial rehabilitation legislation, while effectively managing insolvency and liquidation matters. The office has strengthened accountability, safeguards trust funds, and ensured the integrity and accuracy of company records, including the removal of inactive entities from the register. Mr. Speaker, sir, the number of active Justice of the Peace, JPs in Fiji, has steadily increased over the past 4 years, reflecting the Ministry of Justice's continued commitment to ensuring justice services are more accessible to communities across the country than ever. In Fiji, in 2022, Fiji recorded a total of 515 active JPs. This number rose to 557 in 2023, increased further to 613 in 2024, and reached 673 in 2025. The consistent growth in appointments demonstrate the Ministry's ongoing efforts to strengthen community-based justice services and support the government's vision of ensuring that no one is left behind in accessing justice. Through expanding the network of JPs across all divisions, the Ministry of Justice continues to bring essential legal services closer to the people of Fiji. In this way, the expansion of the JP network forms part of the Ministry's wider efforts to improve service delivery and strengthen public access to justice. These advancements reflect the Ministry's broader commitment to digital transformation, improve accessibility, and strengthen institutional performance. They demonstrate that justice is not only delivered in courtrooms, but also through efficient, accessible, and trusted public services. Honorable Speaker, the Ministry of Justice also led and successfully completed a sector-wide functional review and produced the Law and Justice Roadmap 2025 to 2029. The roadmap is clear and provides strategic direction of priorities of our law and justice sector. Mr. Speaker, sir, legislative reform must always be grounded in public trust. This trust is strengthened through meaningful public participation, transparency, and open dialogue. Government remains committed to ensuring that voices of all Fijians across communities, generations, and regions are heard and respected in the lawmaking process. I'm honored to serve alongside my colleagues in Parliament, including in my role as a member of the Standing Committee on Justice, Law, and Human Rights. Through this committee, we have traveled to communities around our nation, including most recently to the Northern Division in February, to conduct public consultation on important legislation, including the Education Bill, Criminal Records Bill, and the National Referendum Bills. These consultations are more than procedural exercises. They are opportunities for our people to participate directly in shaping the laws that govern our nation. They are demonstration of government's commitment to listening, engaging, and working in partnership with our citizens. We have been elected for this very purpose, to represent the voices, aspirations, and concerns of the people of Fiji in the most important decision-making forum of our nation. This responsibility cannot be fulfilled without listening. It cannot be fulfilled without dialogue, and it cannot be fulfilled without the active participation of our people. I therefore encourage all Fijians to continue to engage constructively in these consultations. Your presence, your voice, and your perspectives are essential. Let us engage not in division but in dialogue, not in hostility but in respect, and not in silence but in shared purpose. Mr. Speaker, sir, we have heard on Monday from Honorable Permila Kumar, including the cheering squad from Honorable Usmati, about the government for failing its legislative agenda in regards to the Code of Conduct Bill and the Accountability and Transparency Bill. Mr. Speaker, sir, honorable member should be the last person to lecture this House about transparency and accountability. Given that she served in a regime which, despite the clear constitutional requirement, failed for years to establish the Accountability and Transparency Commission or to adequately resource our anti-corruption framework. What a shame. The honorable member should instead thank the coalition government for finally bringing these long overdue accountability measures to Parliament through the Code of Conduct Bill 2025 and the Accountability and Transparency Commission Bill 2025. Mr. Speaker, sir, His Excellency reminded us that and I quote, our national progress is grounded not only in policy and institution, but in shared values, faith, compassion, respect, and service, unquote. These values define who we are as Fijians. They guide our conduct, they strengthen our unity, and they remind us that leadership is, above all, an act of service. As we move towards the upcoming general elections, we are reminded that elections are a cornerstone of our democracy. They are an opportunity for our people to express their will, to shape the future of our nation, and to renew the foundation of our democratic system. The strength of our democracy depends not only on the outcome of elections, but on the conduct of all who participate in the democratic process. It requires leaders and citizens alike to act with integrity, restraint, and respect. It requires us to uphold the rule of law and to protect the unity that defines us as one nation. His Excellency's address presents a vision for a confident, inclusive, and resilient Fiji, a nation that honors its past while preparing for the future. This vision can only be realized through our collective effort. Government cannot achieve it alone. It requires the partnership of our communities, our civil society, our faith organization, our private sector, and every citizen. Before I conclude, Mr. Speaker, sir, I seek your indulgence if I can speak in it okay. Turang sa kana speaker, inonta po silawa. Ang andreba mi na po sa ka ito okay, nung baleta sa kay so sa kana lo mataro-taro, may beir na nonda. Kisa ba kay be? Ti kombeka. Nakena kwisaw tagi. Si mga babalang tagi na review tagi ni abni ba buluan ni ronong dulkin ka to.
Questions and issues being raised about the review.
Inarongo sa tiyo na lenin na to nolomani. Nanon ramala ni bosa nang woni turang balan na presidente na turang na tuya kaw. Non dolam sa tiyo na bosa lawa ni katini ka ono ni February. Ronondolo
of
roso
Parliament
kaono,
2026,
ni sanang karabi sa katiko.
there will be
Sa sanang
a
karaba na
process
matinto na kena review taki, sa kena biso
of
taki.
reviewing
Na yabu di babulawa ni Ronondolo
amending
tin
the
katur.
Constitution of
Na yabu di
2030.
babulawa bo, ko ang drebi kina non tabaka sama kede. Kina non tanan num na lewi bitira ramba.
Will require
Kasi ang yabu taki wala ngama na lewi ruwa.
Will all require
Sa
our
teki muna raw na
contribution and
matinto
input,
na kena baka
not
durumi maya
only
na bosilawa, na lawa baka tutu baka toka isa katiko na referendum bill. Kan dua sa katiko na tiki ni lawan bimbi,
This has
ang kena
been,
sangay mena rawati.
introduced
Sa
through
katu
the
ba di kena tadalabiani na
introduction of
kena
the
biso tagisakan na yabu di baka
referendum
bulawa.
bill.
Autor sa katalangan ng unong ko, may utabutan na mga binibinaka na bukusakan ni komite sa
To
parliamenti,
gratitude to the
ni
Parliamentary
Justice, Law and Human Rights. Ano bukusakan ni Tobi Pararamatak, turang sa kanang speaker, tiga bukusakan yan ni, sa ano turang na mosi,
advocacy and
na
enlightenment work
takolo po may na mosi, narungan po sa serua, meron sa kanya sa sabara, pilisar kinarutunan ng utaubo, may takon robo kay imbo ay maduata. So taputan ng baka binibinaka lebu, and kaya also ring sa kayani, na vale baka rutak, muni may rongot kina na komite ni bakararanta, komite ni bakararanta may na bali po silaw. So turo sa kanang unong ko mo taputan ng baka binibinaka bi kimo ni turang bali na marambali. No muni to ko na sa katu.
thank all
Na
the
law tungo na referendum bill,
households
na law tunibuli
about,
kina criminal records.
the bills that we took
Na
across
bakyo ko ito na
across
baki
Fiji.
bimbi na matintu do bata. En kena sa may biuki na, en kena sa ngay mesa ng biu may, en bali po sila na law baka tutu. Na kena review ta kina bali baka bulawani ron dultin ko
Bring
tur.
forth this amendment bill.
En ang karabi na referendum muni na sulya kina no muni ding na lendi buno rarambo biti. En no muni baka tulawa, me baleta no muni na numa na bisaw, me bisaw na bali baka bulawa si siyang.
Put in a vote
Ninday
to
sa
support,
katiko, no notakawa. Okay.
to support
Kapo ni rongwata baka lebu na rorongo. Yan yabusta kada no muni itukutuku en dina
all the decisions on
kani no hindi to matin tu to bata non rebellion ta kina turana prime minister siti beni rambuka en no tuta ka sakatiko na rebellion ta kina to bakarong rongo na domo munina lendi bunwan hindi sakatiko na ya bundi baka bulawan ron ton kini kutolu en biuki na ka biutani na bika soya inda sengani binaka ta kana biuki na bika na numa na lewe bitira ramba. As we enter this important period in our nation's journey, I wish to reaffirm my unwavering faith in the people of Fiji and my confidence in the decision of our government. We remain committed to serving with integrity, strengthening our institutions, and advancing reforms that will benefit both present and future generations. I ask all Fijians to continue to have faith in the democratic process and in the work being undertaken to build a stronger, fairer, and more united Fiji. Let us move forward together with hope, with trust, and with a shared commitment to the future of our beloved nation. Mr. Speaker, sir, before I sit down, I would invite the Honorable Praveen Bala to join G12 to make it G13 so that we can support the Honorable Prime Minister. I commend His Excellency the President's address to this Honorable House and reaffirm my commitment to serve the people of Fiji with humility, dedication, and respect. Thank you, Dhanavad, Mr. Speaker.